Hi friends and family, this is Tanuja. I would like to say something. 30 years ago on March 29th, 1985, I landed in New York airport by myself when I was a little over 2 months, a newly married girl. Here is a little short description how I felt before landing and a little afterwards. Well, my biggest fear was that what if I don't see Shaker at the airport? What would I do? Those days, obviously, there was no cell phone and no internet. So that was the fear in my head. What would I do? I was just, I was talking to a lady next to me in the plane, a British lady, and obviously she asked me, "Where are you going?" I said, "Columbia, South Carolina." So there she goes, "Oh, their accent is horrible." So I didn't say anything. So after landing, I had no problem. I did see shake her, and we quickly drove to Washington, D.C., where I was only seeing beautiful cherry blossom trees and lots of cars, but hardly anybody on the road. So I was wondering what's going on? Where are the people? Why don't I see them? Because I just came from a heavy populated country. So, well, then of course we started going around sightseeing and things like that. But let me tell you, this car story reminds me of a very interesting short story when I was maybe I was in fifth grade or sixth grade. So one of my childhood friend, and she just used to live across my street, and her dad came in this country to do PhD, and she was born here. One of her sister was also born here. So one day she just came to my house and she brought lots of pictures, and I was going through and she told me that day, "You know what, I was born in Chicago." I said, "Oh really? Okay." And then she started showing me lots of pictures, and one of the picture literally got stuck in my head. And the reason for that is I saw in that picture there was a very skinny, tall building, and it appeared to have every few, let's say, in a very short, like say, yard or less than a yard, there was a. It looked like it had too many windows, and every window had a small toy car. So I started, why would Americans, decorate a toy car in their every window? Don't they have something better than a toy car to have a piece of decoration on the window ledge? I had no idea at the time what am I talking about. So okay, I totally forgot about that, but once I came to Chicago, and I think we still used to live in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Then Shaker drove me around. I was pregnant with my first one. I drove me around in the city, and there I see the big tall building. And guess what? That was exactly the same building what I had seen in my childhood, and that is the parking garage. And those windows are the parking slot where every physical car is parked. It is not a toy car. What I was thinking, it's a toy car because it's a tall building, and me being who had never traveled outside India as a little girl, thought it's a toy car. So that's a very interesting story. And every time till today, I go to Chicago. Anytime I see that parking garage, I remember my own childhood story, how sweet it was. And I'm thinking today, maybe that picture got stuck in my head because I had to live. I had to live when I grew up in Chicago, so that's why maybe just it happened to be that that picture got stuck. Very interesting. You may not find it interesting, but it's very sweet to me because it's my own story, how I felt about that parking garage. Well, out of 30 years, I would say we have lived three states. I lived 2.5 years in Columbia, South Carolina, where I also enrolled myself into master's in biology, and I was working as a research assistant in molecular genetics lab, extracting DNA. That was a very cool thing to do. Then we moved to Los Alamos, New Mexico, where Shaker was doing his PhD. And afterwards, since 1989 October, we have been living in Chicago, which has been a little over 25 years. And I just simply love it because it's a beautiful city on this earth, beautiful architecture. And I definitely feel that Chicago is our home because we have lived longest over here. It seems very long since I have left my birth country, India, and I do love my adoptive country, US. I love the city where I live, which is Naperville slash Chicagoland. And but I always in my heart, whenever I meet any new person, if they ask me, "Hey, where are you from?" I always say I'm a girl from Muzaffarpur because that's where I spent my childhood, and I can never say anywhere where my grandparents come from that I'm from, either my paternal grandparents' city or my maternal grandparents' city, but I will always be a girl from Muzaffarpur. Well, that's in a nutshell about my 30 years living in this country. Thanks, guys. Bye. Love you all.